Good morning, class. Today is Wednesday, April 15th, and today we're going to start reading our story, Just Like Josh Gibson. The story is written by Angela Johnson and it's illustrated by Beth Peck. It is a realistic fiction, and if you remember what realistic fiction is that it's made up events that could actually happen in real life. And in the story, Josh Gibson is a real character. He is a baseball player that played back in the early 1950s, 1960s. So, we're going to read a story about a little girl who wanted to play baseball just like Josh Gibson. So, let's turn to page 368 in your reading book, and you can follow along with this video or you can follow along in your reading book. I hope you enjoy the story. Here we go. Page 368.
Just Like Josh Gibson by Angela Johnson. Illustrated by Beth Peck. Genre: realistic fiction tells about made-up events that could happen in real life. Look for things that really could have happened to a little girl.
And here's a picture of the little girl. And the picture behind her is a picture of Josh. Here's our question of the week.
Question of the week: why are sports traditions important in our country?
And let's start our story. Page 370.
Grandmama says, there's nothing like baseball. The story goes,
let's think about. What do you already know about baseball? Background knowledge.
Okay, this is background knowledge. What do you know before we read? We know that baseball is a sport that is loved by many people in our world. Okay, it's a lot of tradition that goes along in baseball. So let's take a peek what happens.
Josh Gibson once hit a baseball in Pittsburgh so hard that it didn't come down. The next day, he was playing in Philadelphia and the ball dropped out of the sky right into a fielder's glove. The umpire pointed at Josh and said, "You're out yesterday in Pittsburgh."
Let's think about. Could the story of Josh Gibson's hit really have happened? Questioning.
No, he couldn't have hit a ball in Pittsburgh. And then in the next day, Philadelphia, the ball would come down. He couldn't hit it that far. But actually, it did happen in real life where he hit a ball out of the ballpark and no one could find it. Okay. The next day, when they were playing in Philadelphia, someone caught a ball coming from high and they said, "Oh, that was your ball from yesterday." It really wasn't, but it actually went down like that. People actually thought that it was. It was just kind of a joke, but because he could hit the ball so hard, he was like hitting home run after home run. Josh Gibson was a very good baseball player.
Grandmama says her papa showed up on that same day, the day she was born, with a Louisville slugger and a smile. He said his new baby would make baseballs fly, just like Josh Gibson. So Grandmama's papa threw balls to his baby girl in the early morning dew. Those summer days were like magic as the balls sailed away, gone.
Let's think about. What is a Louisville slugger? Look for clues in the pictures and story. Monitor and clarify.
Okay, so what is a Louisville slugger, you might be asking? Well, look at the picture of this little girl. She is holding a bat, and her grandpa is pitching a ball to him or her. And it says, Grandpa or Grandma says her papa showed up on the same day, the day she was born, with a Louisville slugger and a smile. So, what do you think a Louisville slugger is? Well, I'll tell you, a Louisville slugger is a baseball bat. It's a wooden baseball bat. They still have them today. And men that play in the major leagues, a lot of them use a Louisville slugger. It is a baseball bat. And was she born with it? No, she just used it at a young age. All right, let's turn our page and see what happened.
But girls in the 40s didn't play baseball. They weren't supposed to take the field with the boys or have batting dreams. So even when Grandmama got bigger, she still had to stand outside the fence and watch her cousin Danny and the Maple Grove All-Stars batting away.
Let's think about, why didn't Grandmama play baseball with her cousin Danny? You can go back and reread the page. Monitor and clarify.
So why couldn't girls play baseball with the boys? There she is, standing behind the fence while her cousins are playing baseball. It says, but the girls in the 40s didn't play baseball. They weren't supposed to take the field with the boys or having batting dreams. So boys and girls didn't play the same sports. Only boys could play baseball. I'm glad I live in this time now because girls and boys can play sports.
But every now and again, when the team was just practicing, they let Grandmama play too. Then Grandmama would step up to the plate, hit the ball, and watch it soar. Grandmama says Danny would imagine he was playing with the Dodgers. But she was always Josh Gibson, playing for the Grays, wearing the team colors, and hitting away.
She liked to imagine she was Josh Gibson. He could hit the ball far and she would be just like him.
Grandmama says she would play all day, with everybody saying she could do it all: hit, throw, and fly round the bases. But too bad she's a girl. Too bad she's a girl.
Let's think about, why do the boys say, too bad she's a girl? Questioning.
So why are they saying this? Too bad she's a girl. Probably because she can't play the game. She can practice with them, but she can't play in the games because she is a girl. And she was good. It says, with everybody saying she could do it all. She could hit, she could throw, and fly around the bases, meaning she's super fast. It's too bad she couldn't play on the boys' team because she's a girl.
Until 2 days, hot days after the 4th of July, Danny hurt his arm sliding into second, and there were only 8 All-Stars. That afternoon, the team looked to Grandmama, pink dress with a white bow, and Danny's baseball shoes. And Grandmama says, as she went to the plate, she remembered.
Let's think about, do you think Grandmama will get a hit? Why do you think so? Read to find out. Predict.
So, what do you think? Is Grandmama gonna get a hit? She can do it in practice. Let's see if she can do it in a game.
Baseball has always been early morning dew and sunlight. hitting balls with her papa, and standing behind the fence, watching the boys play.
Let's think about, how did baseball change for Grandmama? Monitor and clarify.
All right, she always remembered getting up early in the dew and the sunlight, hitting balls with her papa. Okay, and then stand behind the fence, watching the boys. But today, what happened? What is happening today? Well, today she actually gets to get into the game because her cousin Danny was hurt. Right. Page 378.
Let's think about, what does the picture tell you about how Grandmama did? Inferring.
Okay, let's infer. What do you notice about the picture of Grandmama? The boys are holding her up like they're celebrating, and she's holding the ball. Maybe Grandmama hit a home run. Maybe. Maybe they won the game because of her. Let's find out.
The story goes, Grandmama hit the ball a mile that day, caught anything that was thrown, and did everything else, just like Josh Gibson.
Let's think about, knowing how Grandmama played, what kind of player do you think Josh Gibson was? Inferring.
All right, and this isn't telling us what type of player Josh Gibson was until at the beginning of the story. It kind of does that he hit the ball so far, but it says Grandma hit the ball a mile that day, caught anything that was thrown, and did everything else. So she played like a monstrous game, a great game. She was awesome. So what kind of player do you think Josh Gibson was? I hope you said that he was an amazing, outstanding player. That's why he's known for today. Page 380. Here is a lady showing a picture. And if you can look in the picture, there is Grandmama with her pink dress on with her team and her glove and her Louisville Slugger bat.
As she hands the ball to me, she says, there's nothing like baseball, baby. And I couldn't help but love it. Especially that one time I got to hear the cheers, hear all the cheers, while stealing home.
Let's think about, Grandmama's papa taught her about baseball. How is she doing the same thing now? Monitor and clarify.
So what is Grandma doing now to this little girl that was very close to her papa at the beginning of the story? I think, well, I should say I know, Grandma is telling this little girl how important baseball was to her and that she too can do this. So she told her a story of a time when she had success playing baseball in hopes to instill baseball into this little girl, just like her papa did. And let's turn our page. Let's look at our questions.
Envision it. Retell. Think critically. 1. Grandmama liked playing baseball. Do you play baseball or another sport? Tell about it. 2. Why do you think the author wrote about Grandmama and baseball? 3. Look at page 373. Grandmama could not play baseball on the Maple Grove All-Stars because she was a girl. How is that different from girls' sports today? 4. Think of a question about Grandmama playing baseball. Reread to find the answer. What clues helped you answer the question? 5. Look back and write. Look back at page 379. How can a girl play baseball just like Josh Gibson? Provide evidence to support your answer.
Okay, so I want you to go back up and I want you to look. Number 1, Grandma liked playing baseball. Do you play baseball or another sport? Tell someone. I'll tell you that I love to play volleyball. I also love to play golf too. I get frustrated at golf, but I like to play it. And back in the day when I was a little bit younger, I did play a lot of softball. Not baseball, but softball. And I really loved softball too. And if you give me a basketball, I'll even play basketball. So those are some of the sports that I like to play. Why do you think the author wrote about grandmama and baseball? Now think like an author. Why do you think this? What was his purpose of writing this story? Was there a famous baseball player that we learned about in the story? We maybe learned about Josh Gibson, right? We also maybe learned about girls and baseball in the history of sports growing up. Girls couldn't play baseball. And as time has went on, now girls have sports just like boys do. And it says, look back on page 373. Grandma could not play baseball on the Maple Grove All-Stars because she was a girl. How is that different from sports today? And if you look back at that picture, it's of Grandmama standing behind the fence in her pink clothing, and the boys are standing around getting ready for the game. How is it different today than it was from back in the 40s? Now, number 4, it says, think of a question about Grandmama playing baseball. You think up a question and then reread to find the answer. And it says, what clues helped you answer the question? You come up with a question about grandmama. And then number 5, it says, look back on page 379. How can a girl play baseball just like Josh Gibson? And I'm looking back at the story. And here is the page you're supposed to be looking at. It reads this. The story goes, Grandmama hit the ball a mile that day, caught anything that was thrown, and did everything else just like Josh Gibson. How can a girl play baseball just like Josh Gibson? Well, girls can hit the ball, they can catch the ball, they can throw the ball, and play the game just like a boy can. So that's how she could be just like Josh Gibson. And let's read about our author, Angela Johnson.
Meet the author, Angela Johnson. Angela Johnson has written many great stories. Childhood memories of her father's baseball games inspired just like Josh Gibson. She says, I remember the smell of the glove oil, the sound the bats made as the players tapped them on home plate, and the hot dogs I couldn't get enough of. Baseball is a wonderful memory for me. I wanted to write a book about it being a memory for another little girl. Ms. Johnson recently won an important award to help her continue to write her wonderful stories. Read 2 more books by Angela Johnson. Violet's Music. Do Like Kyla. Reading Log. Use the Reader's and Writer's Notebook to record your independent reading.
And there is a picture of the author. And maybe she was referring to herself in this story. Maybe she was a little girl that she pretended to be in this story. I hope you enjoyed our story just like Josh Gibson. Until tomorrow, see you later.